fundamental human movement. Having a nice strong bent pattern gives you good whole body strength, makes you functional. I like the straight leg deadlift, so I develop good hamstring length in my lifting and good spinal stability. Now, to do this takes time, so depending on the person, you may start out just doing some basic bends, hip hinges, and coming up. What I want to see from people straight away is their basic hip hinge with the knees locked out, hinging forward and coming up. It's important to see this from behind, which is a bit weird, like this. Now, you may wonder why I've got Birkenstocks on. So, the key reason is if you have a look at mine without, when I bend forward, you'll see something there, if you look really closely. Now, when I bend down, my right leg is shorter than my left leg. So my Birkenstocks just have a 5mm, or about a 4mm build up on one side. And what that does, it just gives me an even platform. I injured my right knee when I was 13, and I'm pretty sure that's why my femur length is slightly shorter on this side, but could be for other reasons. But a lot of people do have leg length discrepancies. But I want to see people's hinge forward, so see how far they can go from the side, and then also from the back, and we're looking for that skyline position to see if there's any discrepancy there, and any weight shift from left to right as well, depending on what's going on in the hips. Now, to load that, you want to make sure that you've got a healthy back. If your back's a bit off, then you obviously don't need any load there, just body weight is fine. And then if you want to develop that, rather than adding weight, you can just go to a single leg version. So that's going to put a lot more load, and without even having to do the balance, I just have that second foot there to spot. Now I'm getting all that load in that leg, like that. Now I like to draw the quads up when I do that. Now for heavier lifting, if you really like going hard and like to really lift heavy, obviously with a bent knee you can lift a lot heavier. And hip hinging with a straight leg is going to put a lot more pressure on the lower back. Obviously once you get further over, you're getting more of a horizontal spine with all that load. It's going to be a lot heavier in the back. So the amount that you can lift is going to be as much, but it's going to make you very strong. So then if you do those other lifts with some skill development and some conditioning, you can easily lift a lot heavier. But I just like to be efficient because I like to give my hamstrings that maximum conditioning through a full range of motion, and I love using the straight leg deadlift to condition them as well as to strengthen my lower back. Now you can use Jefferson curls for full range of motion, so that's where the lower back will round out. Now if your spine's really healthy, that's great. If you do have some lower back issues, that's going to strengthen it, but if you've got some disc issues, that's not going to be optimal. I find the straight leg one with a straight back much more effective at the beginning, and then you still want to develop spinal flexion. The people that lift the heaviest in deadlifts, world over, on the most part, you'll see people rounding their backs in powerlifting. They've just got huge amounts of connective tissue strength as well as muscular strength. And a key thing that happens is that if you're down at the bottom of the lift and it rounds as you're lifting, but you're still coming up, you're actually eccentrically loading it through that harder point. So the butt's getting a little bit higher and you're lowering the weight through your back, and you're always 1.5 times stronger eccentrically than you are concentrically. So what happens a lot of the time is the butt gets higher, they're loaded, and then once they're in an easier position, they'll straighten out again. Right, wrong, if your goal is to lift heavier, then that's a way to lift heavier. I just like to make sure that the people that work with me are injury free and develop what they need. So I'm a bit more extreme in terms of doing a straight leg version for my hamstring mobility and strength and hinging, whereas other people that don't really care that much about that full hamstring range of motion but want to improve it, might want to lift heavier and get more of a whole body response from the lift and more of a hormonal response, so they want to lift heavier, so they're doing it with a bent knee, maybe not going as extreme. It's really up to you, but I want to see these versions, just the body weight version, so I can see where you're at, and then if you want to load it up, that's your choice and how you want to do it. I'll coach you through that. Some other things that I do as well is I'll use the slant board just to condition it further, so that way I'm on a 30-degree angle with my ankles, and that way it's going to stretch and strengthen a lot heavier. My butt goes back, and that way when I'm coming down, I'm going to get a lot more stretch into the calf and the hamstring and behind the knee, which is great because it just makes the lift even more effective. Now there's lots of versions you can do once you get a base, whether you're doing a sumo style. Now if I didn't have my shoes, I like sumo ones because when I have a wider stance, it evens out my pelvis. So if I go wide like that, my leg having discrepancy is not so much of an issue. So whether I'm doing more of a squat style like that, or whether I'm doing just a hip hinge like that, different variations are really good for the body to get strong in all different positions. But it always comes back to how much time have you got in the week to put into your conditioning and how efficient do you need to be. You can do higher reps, lower reps, you can do hip hinging kettlebell swings or dumbbell swings. You can do just really heavy barbell, bent leg deadlifts or straight leg deadlifts, snatch grip to go deeper. It's really unlimited in terms of the options, but the basic of the bend pattern, if you've got that down, then all those options are available to you if you condition that. So I really want to see just that basic one. Now if you do want to add a bit of load to it, that's cool. If you don't have any back issues, then add some load. If you do, go to the single leg one and you want to show me that. But I want to see a nice strict hip hinge and get to the point where you're max. So if you go further, that lower back starts to move. So you can see how far you can go, what angle you can get to. And then just get that stronger and stronger and stronger. Now for programming, if I'm doing split programs like I do, then I'll do lunge, squat, deadlift in a program most of the time. Sometimes I'll just do lunge and deadlift. I won't squat because I'm going really heavy on the lunges and in that split squat position. That front leg is like a squat, so it's pretty heavy loading through there already. But if I'm training with clients, a lot of the times I won't do deadlifts. I'll just use the bent over row to condition that bend pattern, just to make things a bit quicker in their week. But they're usually people that are only training once or twice a week. Once someone's training 3 times, so definitely include the deadlift or the bend pattern in there for their needs, and work on that with them. So get into that, get 3 reps from the side and 3 reps from the back for me, and I'll give you some coaching tips on that, and we can work towards the best program for you and put it together. See you soon.